Hello and welcome to Vegas Apocalypse Quarantine Theater. Well, we're just entering phase one of the Las Vegas reopening, and I'm not sure that I'm really seeing a difference out there. It looks like some of the smaller parks may be open. It isn't so much what businesses are going to be open, but when is the MGM Grand going to be open? Because there are a number of tour companies and other smaller businesses around Las Vegas that are dependent on a large amount of tourists coming through, with a percentage of them, of course, going to their various businesses. If we don't have a huge amount of tourists coming to Vegas every year, then that's going to be it for some of these smaller businesses, because most of these businesses aren't necessarily catered to by locals, which is why when you do become a local, you can get some really amazing local discounts on some of the Las Vegas attractions for that reason. Not a lot of locals go to Las Vegas attractions. So as we wait, we're going to come out of lockdown, and we may wind up having to go back into lockdown, back into the quarantine, depending on how good we are at maintaining our curve. And it sounds like the whole country's on a diet, and the way we want to have everything and have everything now, I'm not sure we'll be able to keep this diet. Anyway, I have another website where I deal with non-Las Vegas matters called walkertown.com, and I do video marketing on there. And one thing that I am starting to do is reach out to local businesses to find out exactly how they're coping in the post-COVID-19 world. And I did reach out to the Las Vegas business, the Indie Film Factory, and they're responsible for the movie Abigail Haunting, which I reviewed a few episodes back on Quarantine Theater. So I feel really good that I was able to speak to Kelly Schwartz, the director of Abigail Haunting, through the Facebook Watch. Yeah, I was able to talk to him on there. And we talked about a number of things about how his business might be changing as far as having in-person seminar goes. But then there are some other interesting tidbits that came up regarding how movies are going to be changing. Will people even go to movie theaters again? And here's a little snippet of that. How do you think just simply going to a motion picture theater is going to be affected in the next few months or years?
Well, I think it's going to take a while for people to start feeling safe to be able to get back into a group gathering like that. And for some people, they may never go back to it. So you may see an entire generation of people that, the theater is just like something that their parents and grandparents did. I mean, that's a huge possibility, and it's sad. But I'm hoping that the media and the idea of being together has a comeback. I'm old school, so hopefully at some point when the time is right, we can handshake again.
So there you go. If you're interested in the state of movies today as we go into our post-COVID-19 world, or if you're just interested in independent movie production in general, you can see the rest of the interview at walkertown.com, my other webpage. Before I go, I want to review one movie that I saw yesterday that has a very strong local independent Vegas flair to it, and that is Lost.Vegas.Hiway. This movie is directed by Zohaib Latif, and it's also written and produced by Jeff Mix, who is a country singer who I will have to confess my ignorance. I don't follow country music. And so I was just introduced to the songs of Jeff Mix through this movie. And this movie takes place as the Gateway Motel, which you can find very easily at the intersection of Charleston and Las Vegas Boulevard. And even though that's where that motel is, and I drive by it all the time when I'm going down that way, I can tell just by watching the movie that the spirit that they want to invoke belongs to where you see all the boarded up motels on Fremont Street. And this is where Tony Hsieh of Zappos came in and bought a number of them, and I'm not sure what's happening with that project, but a lot of those hotels were supposed to be renovated, and maybe they would see a new renaissance, but that hasn't happened yet. And when I watched Lost.Vegas.Hiway, it was pretty much a place where the losers and dregs of society are just kind of walking in and out of each other's lives. And the direction of the movie by Zohaib Latif, it has different vibes. There are some moments where it has an almost David Lynch vibe to it, where I think that just about anything may happen or look from behind the corner, to a vibe like Richard Linklater and Slacker, where the emphasis really wasn't on any particular person. You just kind of drifted in and out of the lives of various people through the day in that particular city of Austin. I believe that's where they shot Slacker, which is also where this movie, Lost.Vegas.Hiway, opens up. And it opens up at a bar there where Jeff Mex playing himself. So I'm taking it that some of the stories we're seeing in here are taken from real life. I'm guessing. I don't know that for sure, but there's a very realistic vibe to it. And he mentions to the bartender there that he's going to Vegas, and the bartender gets kind of misty in his eyes. It's been years since he's been to Vegas, and anyway, he's been sober for many years, so you can tell it's been quite a few decades since this guy's been to Vegas, but he still gets misty-eyed over it. And of course, that's where Jeff met his wife, or proposed to his wife there at Vegas. That's where they got married. And so you kind of sense that there was something that happened in the marriage that caused them to break up. And as he goes there and plays at the various Vegas venues, there's 3 Vegas venues. The main one that comes to my mind right now is the Bunkhouse Saloon, because I have never driven by there when it's open. And I hope to eventually, when this quarantine's over, get myself to the Vegas Saloon and have me a beer, especially after seeing this movie. But I can never seem to get there. And I understand they have karaoke there on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I don't know. Contact me after the quarantine's over. But as he plays these different bars, you also see the stories happening around them. And probably the only connection between the stories is they happen within a close proximity of where his band happens to play. And like I said before, this movie does remind me of the Richard Linklater movie, Slacker. It also seems to have touch of the Willie Nelson Honeysuckle Rose movies. There were some movies that Willie Nelson made where he's going on tour. So this movie kind of evokes those Willie Nelson movies, except maybe on a more lower socioeconomic level. In fact, I believe I read on one of the comments on the movies that the budget was kept at around $50,000 on this movie. So this movie definitely qualifies as an independent movie. And I should mention that I'm not even into country music. I don't listen to country music. So again, it was the direction and it was the mosaic of different stories that seemed to permeate the area of the Fremont Street motels, or even the Gateway Motel at Charleston and Las Vegas. And it almost had kind of a low Robert Altman vibe to it, and that's what got me into the movie. So check it out while you're in quarantine, or even if you're not in quarantine. That's Lost.Vegas.Hiway, directed by Zohaib Latif, and written and apparently based on the exploits of Jeff Mex. So thank you for watching Vegas Apocalypse, and when the apocalypse is over, just meet me over at the Bunkhouse Saloon. Thanks for watching.